Welcome to this online yoga practice. It's nice to have you here today. My name is Rebecca and I'm going to guide you through a centering practice. So really about centering your power, your strength in your core. As we are often, our energy and our focus can be anywhere, but sometimes it's really about like gathering everything again within us. And that's what we're going to do today. I suggest that you grab a block, especially as we're also going through some, exercises very specifically expand, so that we can retract again and coming back to center. So that there is also this exercise about, okay, what does it feel like if my body is expanding, and then finding that center again. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's get into it. Find a comfortable seat. That can either be on a pillow. I usually use my block. It just helps me to, sit a bit more upright. I usually sit on the corner of the block so that my lower body can be long and stretched without really me having to work too much for it. And maybe start to roll your shoulders up and back, finding a way to release in the neck and shoulder area. Maybe softening around your eyes, closing your eyes, and finding your way to your breathing. Making deep, long inhales and exhale equally long. Allowing your awareness just to be on the breathing for now. Place one hand on your heart area and one hand on your belly area. And just stay with your breathing for a moment. Already starting to bring the awareness, bringing your thoughts towards you. Also at the same time noticing when your thoughts drift away again. And when that happens, just bring them back to your breathing. Noticing also the movement of your upper body as you continue to breathe. And then I invite you first to bring your awareness to that heart area, so where one of your hands is located, and picturing that there is on the inside of your chest like a ball. And that whenever you inhale, you start to retract all the focus into that area. Sometimes thinking of your thoughts as being like a spider's web. And instead of, letting that expand, start to retract it with every inhale. And with every exhale, you release the thought. Continue that centering then towards the hands in your belly area. So same exercise here. As you inhale, you start to picture that ball as you start to retract all thoughts into that ball, being present within you. And then one last exercise for your awareness is thinking between the heart and the belly area and what role they have maybe in your life. Often, especially in business environments, we use our intellect, our minds mostly for decisions. But often decisions only feel right when we can involve the heart and the gut as well. And just as a little reminder to not disregard them completely, I think it's key actually to embed both heart and gut also in the decision just as much as your intellect. Deepen your breathing for a few rounds of breath more. Slowly release your hands to your knees. Remove the block to the side for now. Roll onto your back. Maybe start to create circles with your knees as to give some movement into the lower back. Place both soles of the feet towards the mat. Start activating your spine by lifting your hip area, pressing them towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower vertebra by vertebra, hips be the last to touch the ground. Inhale, lift. Once more in that gentle, kind way. Slowly wakening up the full range of motion in your spine. Stay firmly with your feet both hip width apart and firmly towards the floor. Continue to breathe evenly and calmly. Next time your hips are up, stay there. Maybe try to not engage only in your glute area, but also start activating both of your thighs by pressing the knees towards each other. So activating your strong legs. One more round of breath. And with your next exhale, you start to lower back down once more. Grab a hold behind your thighs and then start to roll back and forth on your spine. Really giving that activation there as well. And when you come next to sitting next time, stay there. Lower legs parallel to the floor. And then start to expand your arms straight into core. So that centering exercise that we did earlier in the breathing exercise already helps us now. Bring the hands behind your skull. And as you exhale, you start to extend your left leg and rotate with your left elbow towards your right knee. Stay here. 1 or 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, right leg extends, right elbow to left knee. Continue to breathe. Inhale, back to center. 1 more round, left leg extends. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, right leg extends. Stay with your breathing. Don't just hold out there by stopping your breath, because that literally means like you're stopping your strength to work, even though it's a strong pose. come back to center. And then start to roll back and forth once more. Land on your feet and come towards standing. Sometimes I can look things easy. Maybe you need 1 or 2 attempts until you're there, which is totally fine. Hands in front of the heart, feet hip width apart. Suck in your belly towards your ribs and finding once more that strong center. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back with both feet. Plank. Once more, belly button pulled in. Long spine as you inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows all the way down to the floor. Inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, lower down, tuck your toes, push up back to downward facing dog. Settle into your first downward facing dog by lowering one foot after the other, closer to the mat, elongating the backside of your legs, pressing firmly into both hands, sending the shoulders away from the ears, strong arms. And already having that sensation of lengthening both sides of the body. Inhale, look forward, place your right hand closer to the middle, and then prepare to lift your left hand and bring it to the outside of the right ankle. Look underneath your right armpit in a twisted three-legged dog. Continue to breathe, soften in your face. One more round of breath. Inhale, release, back to regular downward facing dog. Centering once more, so placing all of your weight equally between both hands, both feet, until you prepare again to lift your left hand in the middle, to place the right hand on the outside of the left ankle. Continue to breathe. And even if your downward facing dog might still be a bit stiff because we really just got into it, remember that you can always micro bend your knees. One more round of breathing. Back to center. Inhale, look in between your hands. Step all the way forward, halfway lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, both hands to the mat. Step your right leg back. Heel comes in and down. Windmill up to warrior two. And find your way into your warrior two so that your front leg is bent in a somewhat 90-degree angle. Thigh is close to parallel to the floor. You're soft in your shoulders, but strong arms. Palms facing down. Shoulders above your hip area. Sometimes we tend to go a bit too far forward, sometimes a bit too much back. Extend your front leg. Pull all the way forward with your left hand and then lower towards a triangle pose. So maybe this is where your block already comes into play, so you can place it close to the inside of your left foot, either in the highest part or in a medium size support. And really also here, like opening up. Now it's that space where you're extending, lengthening on the side, making wide arms. And then inhale, coming back up to warrior two. And then windmill back down, block to the side, two, plank. And then lowering down the knees, sitting back to a child. And in that space, we center again. Center and bringing back our focus within us. Release your breathing. Before we place the hands back into that shape, that you can make your way back to downward facing dog. Looking in between your hands, stepping all the way forwards, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, root or rise. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hand to the mat. Foot, weight to the right foot. Sending the left leg back. Heel comes in and down. Windmilling up to warrior two on the other side. And also here, find your way into that shape. Knee is not falling inwards, but showing in the same direction as your toes. Relaxed in the shoulders. Continue to breathe and maybe bring your gaze over that front right hand. Staying soft. Maybe drawing both feet towards each other so that your core is supported, that your legs are not, falling away. You're in control of your legs. Inhale, extend the right leg, reach forward, and again here, maybe with the block into your triangle. Reaching both sides into a long shape, reaching the hands away from one another. Breathing calmly and gently. Next round of breathing. Bend your front leg, come back up. Only to windmill both hands. Ooh, poor plant. Back to plank. Long spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, lower your knees. Send your hips back to child. Centering. Reaching your fingers and hands all the way forwards, but still remaining in that shape where your shoulders are in the shoulder girdle, but still that elongation. Inhale, come to all fours, tuck your toes, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg, step it all the way through. Lower your right heel in and down, finding your way back into warrior two. Inhale, lift up, back to triangle pose, which is where we were before. So maybe you bring your back foot a little bit closer then, so that you can lower over your front leg. So you start to rotate your hips forwards. So it's a kind of a different shape where we want to fold over with center tips, which is called the pyramid pose. And you should experience much more of a stretch on the back side of your left leg. Inhale, lengthen once more. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, releasing. And it's that subtle movement that your muscle needs in order to soften. So it's about not, going into the pose and staying there and like forcing the stretch, but making the way in by having that movement of flow. It's also much more gentle on your nervous system. And then bring your block close and to the outer edge of the foot so that you can lift your left arm towards the ceiling for a twisted triangle. And having that sensation from the belly button, like really opening up into that twist from the core, but then extending again. So it's always that shape where you center and then expand from your center where you are in control. One more round of breath. Gently release, like book to the side. Stepping back into plank. Inhale, elongate. Exhale, shifting through a child's pose. Center. A few rounds of breath here. Before you prepare yourself once more by reaching your hands out, tucking your toes, sending the hips up to downward facing dog. Continuing the movement to the other side, lifting your right leg. Inhale, knee to chest, lowering the foot in between your hands. Inhale, rising up to warrior two. Arrive here. Inhale, straightening the front leg, reaching all the way forward, bringing the block close. Once more into triangle, expanding your arms from the shoulder girdle. Starting to walk the left foot a bit closer so that you can start to rotate both your hips forwards to find pyramids with your right leg in front. Coming back into that movement of inhaling, expanding, finding length, exhaling, releasing, stretching. Inhale to lift, exhale to release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Placing the block on the outside of your right foot, left hand on top, to prepare yourself to opening up on the right side. Finding that belly button tucked in towards not the ribs, of course, the spine. Extending both arms. And then lowering back down. Bring the block to the side, back to downward facing dog. Press firmly into both hands, maybe bending the knees lightly so that you can stretch a bit more in your back. Finding that hinging sensation from your hips. Lowering the knees, sending your hips back into child's pose. Releasing, letting go of muscular tension just for now. Knowing that we're now moving towards more softer poses. Inhale, move back up. Start to sit in the middle of your mat and find a wide-legged posture. So that really is a very individual pose where I don't want to give you like what the angle should be. Some of my students that I teach on a regular basis, they're more in that shape, which is already enough. And some that have worked with their bodies for longer might find a shape that is more in a wider angle. Nevertheless, find that space where you feel comfortable. I'm going to close it a little bit now, just that not to trigger a lot of ego. Elongating on the side of the body, reaching the hands towards the sky, shifting towards the left leg, bending forwards. It doesn't really mean that you can reach your foot, but maybe it's the lower leg. But bringing your belly close to the thigh is more important than bringing your head towards the leg. So it's really about finding that length in the lower back and in the back side of your left leg. And prepare yourself to stay here for about 10 rounds of breath, so that you give the muscle enough time to find stillness, to let go of the tension, to be okay with the stretch. And also maybe here not having that kind of like static sensation. So maybe it's just like a micro lift as you inhale with your upper body, and as you exhale, you slightly lower back down. So it's really about allowing the muscle to find the range of motion adapted to your breathing. Also remaining soft in your facial area, having a soft gaze. And if you need to give your mind a certain task to stay present, count your breath. Always helps for me. One more round of breathing. Inhale, finding your way back to center. Rotate to your right leg, starting to lower down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, finding that fold, that forward fold. Continue to breathe. Maybe lightly adjust the leg. Make sure that your foot remains flexed. Stay also soft in your shoulder area. And allowing that long chain of muscles that are interacting with each other from the back line of your body to grow long and elastic. Few more rounds of breath. Slowly move out of the posture. Bring your legs back together. And as a last part, we're doing fish pose, which means you lower back onto your lower arms, and then you place your hands underneath your buttocks. And then you start to push your chest area towards the ceiling so that you can start to lower your head between your shoulders, maybe touching with the tip of your head towards the mat. And now it's that opening up of your heart and throat area. And it's quite a vulnerable position, like going out into the world with an open heart and open communication, which can feel daunting if you're not used to that so much. But it's also that knowing that when you have your shit together, like when you're centered, it's not so daunting anymore. And maybe you have to let that sink in order for it to make sense for you or your life. Or maybe it never does. That's also okay. One more round of breathing. Lift your head. Release your arms from underneath your buttocks. Let go. Drawing your knees close to your chest, giving your lower back a little wriggle, a massage, changing the rotation then. Placing the feet back to the mat, extending your legs, arms also relax to the floor so that you can find your Shavasana, your final resting pose. And should you feel like extending that resting pose for a while, you can pause the video now and stay here for as long as you like. Or if you're like me in the middle of the day and this was more of a in-between break for you to move your body, I invite you then to find your way to your feet is either on the left or the right side. Catching your breathing here. And when you're ready, pushing yourself up back into a cross-legged posture. Finding your center once more. Centering your breathing, centering your thoughts. Next inhale, arms come up, palms meet. Exhale, hands in between your eyebrows. And in front of your heart. And give yourself a bow for making time for you to practice today. And I thank you very much for letting me guide you. And maybe until we meet again in our next